Hi, Shanae here again. As promised, here is another video about the scams out there. I'm hoping that you guys already looked at the first one, so you have a general idea of what I'm talking about. You've listened to the first scam that I told you guys about. So today I'm gonna touch on another one for a different company. Again, this is another one that I went through. Now this one, I knew it was a scam from the beginning, but I stuck it through so that I can understand the entire plot to and then warn people out there. Okay, so this time the company name that they used was a Cooperation Service Company. I think it's also called DXC. Okay, so here I am on Facebook. So the last scammer, the one that I fell for, he messaged me on February 2nd. So this one messaged me on February 3rd. And the name that he went with was Jeffrey D. Miles. Again, this was in a posting in a Facebook group that led to the messaging behind the scenes. So he posted in a Facebook group, and I saw the posting in one of the Facebook work from home groups, and I was like, another opportunity. So I'm like, okay. So I message him. I'm like, hello, messaging you about the job opportunity. So right away he accepts my request on Facebook. So he's like, okay, where's your present location? And keep in mind, this is one thing that scammers always ask you for, because they want to be sure that you're in the US. Okay, keep that in mind. They want to be sure that you're in the US. Well, I don't know about the UK and Canada and stuff like that, but so far all of them that I've spoken to, they want to make sure that you're in the US. So I'm like, Bronx, New York. He's like, okay, good. He says, thank you for your interest in learning more about this offer and possibly working for a Cooperation Service Company. By taking this step, you have made your first step toward a truly rewarding part-time opportunity with a global company. And then he goes on to give me a whole synopsis about the company. It's an industry-leading provider of business, legal, and financial services, and blah, blah, blah. For 7 years running, they've been one of the region's top workplace by the News Journal, Delaware's leading newspaper. So he gives me a whole synopsis about the company. So again, this sounds professional. I'm like, okay, job opportunity. So I said, I'm interested. He's like, okay, good. Kindly send the following information about yourself. He's like, name, age, address, current occupation, if any, a picture of your driver's license or ID. I'm like, okay. I'm like, first, may I ask a few questions first? I'm interested, but I have just a few questions. He's like, okay. So I'm like, okay. I'm looking at the reviews on Glassdoor because, again, from the time he said the name of the company, I went straight to Google. Indeed, Glassdoor, Better Business Bureau, these are your friends. Keep them in mind. Whenever someone offers you a job or so, I always go check out the reviews. It's like buying a product on Amazon. I do not buy products that do not have reviews on Amazon because I want to know what people are saying about it. And then for me, if it has a 5 out of 5 rating, I am a bit skeptical because I don't see any product or any service without fault. I'm not saying the faults can be fixed, but if you have 1,000 people reviewing a product and all of them are 5 stars, that I'm a bit skeptical about. Anyway, so when he gave the name of the company, I basically jumped into reviewing right away. So I had my questions set. So I'm like, he's like, I'm looking at the reviews on Glassdoor, so I know it's a legitimate company. I'm not worried about that. I'm like, from the salary amount you mentioned, is taxes taken out of that? Do I need any special equipment? He's like, not at all. I'm like, okay, but he never answered any question. He's like, we are currently in need of cashiers so as to enable us to meet up with the payment of all our online employment wages. All we need are people who can follow simple instructions and who are diligent. Are you ready to proceed? if you're ready, kindly provide the information asked about yourself. Again, he didn't answer my questions. I asked about taxes, he didn't answer. I asked about equipment, he didn't answer. It's like he completely skipped over my questions and went on to explaining what the job is about. So I'm there, I'm like, but my questions still haven't been answered. So I'm like, okay. He's like, so I give him my name, my address. I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do with that? So I give him the information, and then he was like, okay, good, thanks for your response. Again, still didn't know it was a scam. And remember, the other scammer only messaged me a day before. So I'm still naive about the scammers. I'm still at that point where I'm like, they don't have people like that out there. And these are legitimate corporations that are messaging me. These are legitimate businesses that are messaging me. So I don't see it as being a scam because they're on Indeed, they're on Glassdoor, they're on the Better Business Bureau, and they have all these reviews out there. So they're not scams. So I'm going along with everything, right? Silly me, but you live and you learn. So he's like, and I also need to inform you that all your data and profile will also be forwarded to our contact in the FBI. I'm like, okay, go ahead, because I have nothing to hide. So he's like, we'll create your profile probably before the end of today. I'll get back to you with your profile ID once your profile is created and forwarded to the FBI. Like, okay, you do your thing. So he was like, till then, be good. I'm like, you too. And that's all I said. So he's like, I'm like, but why is it being sent to the FBI again? He's like, for security purpose. We deal with mostly online contacts and to also prevent fraudulent acts. I'm like, oh, that's nice of you. So he's like, I hope you understand our response. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's fine. I have nothing to hide. Go right ahead. Do whatever you have to do. No problem. So then he messages me. And he's like, congratulations, you got the job. Your profile has been successfully created. I'm like, I got the what now? So I don't do an interview. I don't do nothing. I just get a job. And he was like, since I'm your handler, your profile ID is Miles_112, making you my 112th employee. I'm like, I didn't answer him. I just left him unseen because I'm like, how do I get a whole job without being interviewed for it? How do I get a whole job without being asked one single job related question? Can I do the job or anything? Do I have any experience doing being a cashier or anything like that? I just got a job. So I'm like, you know what? This is so not real. So I'm like, you know what? Do some more research. So I kept researching, reading up on the company and stuff like that. And then I'm like, I'm still not satisfied. So I'm like, something is missing. Something is missing. What did I do next? I called the company. So I'm like, do you guys hire through Facebook? They're like, no, we don't. I'm like, do you have a person by the name of Jeffrey D. Miles working for you guys? They're like, no. So I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm like, okay, just be aware that there are people out there using your company's name to basically scam people, to tell them that you guys are offering work from home positions and stuff like that. So the guy on the other end of the phone, he was like, no, we do offer work from home positions, but we're not recruiting through Facebook. And there's I think he said, if I remember correctly, because I spoke to more than one companies, he was like, oh, there's a banner on their website that says, look out for the scam. So I'm like, aren't you going to put it anywhere else, on Facebook, on YouTube, on nowhere, that says these people are scamming? You should look out for it. He's like, oh, it's on our website. That's good enough. So I'm like, okay, you do you then. And that was the end of the conversation. But what I did was I did not let the scammer know that I knew it was a scam. So I continued the conversation with him like I believed him. So he continues. So he's like, your profile is successfully created. Which will you prefer to work with while transacting with us? Do you prefer money or check? Money order or check? I'm like, check is okay. He's like, do you have a checking account? I'm like, yes, I do. He's like, what's the limit per check that can be deposited on your checking account? Your limit will determine the district you'll be sending the money to. after taking your own 7% from it. So again, here's a person sending me a check, don't know me from Adam, and then telling me I get free money. So of course I'm going to be skeptical, because there's no such thing as free money. There's always work involved where money is concerned. So right away he already give himself up. So even if I didn't speak to the guy from CSC or DXC, whatever it's called now, I already knew that it was a scam. So he's like, I'm like, I have to call my bank to find out. I don't know. So he's like, okay, I'll get back to you. Let me check the districts which you can pay directly. So I'm like, okay. So then he messages me again. He's like, kindly forward the address which the check will be mailed to. So I give him my address. So, because I'm curious, like, are you going to actually send me a check? I'm like, okay. So he's like, our dispatch team will take care of that alongside other check orders for Monday and Tuesday. And once it's done, I'll forward you the tracking number. So then he writes me again. He's like, I want to inform you that there's a delay to your check order due to issues with our dispatch team. We are currently trying our best to work on that. We lost 2 of our dispatch team members to a fatal accident. I'm like, really? So people just got into accidents just like that. They just magically up and died. Anyway. So he wanted me to change it from check to money order. I'm like, no, stick to the check, because I wanted to see where he was going to go with it. So I'm like, no, I prefer to stick with the check, and that's it. He's like, no. I said no. He's like, money order is the only option left because there's a current delay in the check. I'm like, I'm gonna stick to the check. So then he goes into a whole long conversation about what the company is doing and giving away free iPhones, and if I want to do that, I'm like, no thank you. I'll just do whatever job you initially told me about. And the job that he told me about was they have people out in the field, and what basically I'm gonna be doing is they're gonna send me money. They tell me what supplies they need. I place the order for the supplies. I pay for the supplies, and I have it shipped to them. So I'm like, why am I the middleman? If they have the money and they need the products, why not just order the products yourself and have it shipped directly to you? Why do I have to be a middleman for that? All these questions are floating around in my head, and it just doesn't add up. So I'm like, scam. But I'm still continuing with him because, like I said, I wanted to see where it led. So he's like, and then he messages me and he's like, hold on. Because he sent me a whole bunch of stuff in between that I'm not going to read out to you guys. He's like, the check has been sent to you. $4,250. I'm like, really? You're sending me a check of $4,250 in this day and age, and you don't know me from Adam? You don't know if the Facebook profile picture that I have up there is fake? You don't know nothing about me, but you're sending me a check for that amount. So I'm like, why are you sending me a check for so much money? How do you guys just trust people that you don't know? He's like, just like what the other one said, oh, it's the first transaction with you, and we check to make sure that we do it this way to check and make sure that we can trust you. So I'm like, you know what, I've already caught on to the scam part. I'm just gonna ride along. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, isn't there some contract I'm supposed to sign saying I'm employed with you, and is there any tax forms for me to fill? He's like, your details with us is enough for us to put our trust in you. I'm like, what? You have to know that that's a scam. Anybody tells you something like that, you know it's a scam. Anyway, so he sends me the check and a tracking number. I put in the tracking number in USPS. I see it there. The package has been sent out and whatever. Then he was like, hold on. He messages me, and then he was like, the check is there in your mailbox. I'm like, oh, is it? Okay. So I go out to the mailbox, get the check, came back inside. I didn't tell him that I got the check. What I did, opened it, it was a check. But what did I do? Look at the supposed credit union that issued the check, and I looked them up on Google, got their contact number, and called them right away. Mind you, I still haven't told him that I got the check yet. So I called them and I spoke to someone named Jessica. I'm like, okay, I am calling to find out if this is a legitimate check. So she was like, okay, what's the check number? What's the check amount? And all of that. Give her. She put me on hold. She came back maybe about 2 minutes later and she's like, can I have the information again? And I gave it to her again. She put me on hold again. And she came back and she's like, no, ma'am, there's no such information about a check in our system. I'm like, I know. I just wanted to make sure. She's like, so where did you get the check from? So I went into the whole story that I just told you guys about how I got the check and stuff like that. Reported it to her. Called CSC again, DXC. Let them know that these people are still using their name and actually sending checks out, fraudulent checks under their name. Again, they didn't seem to care, so I'm like, okay. But I did my duty and I basically reported the matter. So Jessica was like, can you send me a picture of the check? So I'm like, okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So what he told me to do was when I got the check, let him know. And what I was supposed to do was sign the check, take a picture of the front and a picture of the back and send it to him as proof that I got the check. Now I'm like, if I have to prove to you I have the check when you could just check the tracking number, why do I have to send a picture? I could just say I have the check. If you so trust me, why do I have to send a picture? So right away I knew, I'm like, but you can deposit checks like that and my name would be on the check, and nobody's depositing no fraudulent check in my name. So after speaking to Jessica at the credit union, at the Hapo credit union, I sent all the information to her and stuff like that. And someone from CSC contacted me and they were like, can you give me a bit more information about the scamming? So I told her the whole story and then I screenshot the entire conversation between Jeffrey D. Miles and myself, and I sent it to her and I sent it to the girl at Hapo as well, to Jessica from Hapo. So it's a scam. We all know it's a scam. It's been said and done that it's a scam. He is still gonna message me. Like, I'm like, you do realize that I know that this is a scam, right? I got your check and it's fraudulent and I'm not sending you a picture of the check. He's like, he had the audacity to be all surprised that the check was a fraudulent check. So I'm like, I said, let me tell you something about me. I am not stupid. I did my research and you're not anywhere on the CSC board. Oh, he said he was a board member. I said, in addition, this check is fraudulent. I'm about to report you to the police and CSC. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I called Hapo and they said it's a fraudulent check. I've sent them the info. I'm not depositing this check into my account. I'm handing it over to the police. He's like, how on earth would you say it's a fraudulent check? I said, ask Hapo. They said it's fraudulent. He's like, okay, we mailed the check through one of the companies under us. Kindly snap and send the check so as to make confirmation on the check. I said, well, I called Hapo because that's who supposedly issued the check and they said it's fraudulent. He's like, I can't choose to believe what you're saying. I said the police will handle this from here. He's like, I'll need to report this situation to the HR department and our legal department, but I'll also need a picture of the check to make confirmations before we could press charges. You see, he's still insisting that I send him the picture of the check. So I'm like, I am not sending you a photo of the check. I'm not stupid. That can be deposited. The credit union is dealing with this and I've already called the police. I'm done with you. Stop scamming people. So this was on February 7th. He's still messaging me February 8th. So I went off on him. I'm like, did I not tell you I'm done with you? Stop messaging me. Go try scamming someone else. And then I blocked him. So I don't know what his current position is right now and who he's out there scamming. But this is my warning to you guys. CSC/DXC, they are not hiring through Facebook. They do not have anybody by the name of Jeffrey D. Miles as a recruiter on the board of directors, as nothing. He does not work with them. He's somewhere in Africa because my husband spoke to one of them that claimed to be a recruiter, and my husband said, first of all, he's African. You hear the solid African accent. That's one. And two, he sounds like he's laid back somewhere on in some bed or something and just scamming people. That's how he sounded. So again, this company CSC, they're not hiring through Facebook. So if you see it in any Facebook postings or anywhere else, it's a scam. Do not fall for it. They're going to send you a check, you deposit that check into your account, and the bank is going to shut your account. They're probably going to stop doing business with you because it's a fraudulent check. Don't do it to yourself. So just be on the lookout. Keep looking out for these guys. I'm going to keep doing more videos on different companies that they're using. Keep looking out for my videos. I'm going to give you guys all the information that I found out while I was doing research for a job. So keep watching, guys. Subscribe, like, share, put it out there. Let these scammers be exposed. Let mothers and fathers who are in desperate need of work from home job, don't let them fall victim to these scams just because they're in a position of need. So again, I'm here to help. If you guys want, you can drop a comment in the section. You guys can email me. I can answer any questions that you guys have. I'm here to help. This is my public service to you guys. I went through it, so I'm trying to save somebody else from going through it. All right? So see you guys next video. Bye.